My name is Rhapsody, welcome back to Slay the Spire Downfall. We're going to be continuing with the jump on Ascension 8. Rise. Lose all souls for a chosen rare card, might. That might give us the ability to go for 3 elites really early on. Depends on the rare card. Sword Throw, Hold Firm, and Improvising. Improvising. The first time you use a combo each turn, return it to your hand. It costs 0 until played. Upgrades to reduce its cost to 1. There are a lot of combos that are really, really good when you play them multiple times they're over. You could try and thin deck and just have that combo played consistently multiple times. Especially if we have the improvising at the very start to play around. We also have the sword throw, the possibility of just getting a bunch of damage out there, or the hold firm, the possibility of getting a bunch of defense out there. I'm going to take the improvising and try and play around it, but that does mean I may need to end up avoiding elites for a little bit here. As for our upgrade, let's get the improvising online. So we're looking for combo cards that scale. I guess the best I can do here is the double defense strike, unfortunately. Yeah, that doesn't really affect much at all. Guess I'm gonna have to trip defend on that turn as best I can. Dang. Don't love that either. We took a lot of damage in this first fight. I say we took as though it's in the past. We took a lot of damage in this fight. Now it's past. Crooked Strike, On Guard, and Stance. Choose a stance to enter. If you're already in that stance, add a combo of that stance into your hand. I mean, that's a way to get it online already, as well as choose some stances correctly. Let's do that actually in the interim. I'm trying to play thin. I don't want this. All the other events give you the ability to say no. All right. I mean, I'm not in any stance, so I'm not going to be able to activate anything from that, unfortunately. Ow. So I might as well pop out the excess defense there. And down. Set a trap, Laureate. Set a trap. Gain 6 counter of each attack in your hand. Enter defensive. The problem with using that as a combo card is it's going to rely on a bunch of other things, specifically having a bunch of attacks in hand in order to gain some combo. It's not great. Laureate's not awful. It's a pretty dense effect. Makes it pretty useful for us. We'll pop the defensive out there. Yes, Icum. Double strike. Execute. Into taunt. Gets us the ability to throw out another hit. Thank you for the clown. The crown, rather. The clown is me. The crown is that one. Let's improvise and then Laureate. That was just in case I got to stance and used it to go back into Berserker. Taking a lot of damage these days. Stance. Berserker. What do you get for us? Clobber. Nice. Gut Punch Berserker. Bring it on. This isn't a good one to return to hand because we would need to be able to activate the defensive combo. Well, I mean, no, because we'd have to enter defensive on the turn that we play this 2 times over. It's just not great. Not great for us. Play a Bring It On, just get a little bit more defense in this deck. Maybe I don't even go for the first elite. I say as I go for the first elite. Garbage opening hand. Taunt. Aggressive. That's defensive. Damn. So I gotta try and pull a defensive, and then we get skillful dodge, and then we play skillful dodge again. Skillful dodge is actually the card that we're kind of looking for ultimately in this deck as well. It's just, this is not the fight we're looking for it in. There you go with your skillful dodges. Starts defensive, I guess. Gain block equal to your counter, of which we have none. Yeah, we're dead. I knew we were gonna die trying to do that as soon as we got into the Gremlin Knob fight. We actually would have been able to get through the rest of the fights, interestingly. Also, if we had have gotten aggressive and then an aggressive kind of combo counter, that would have worked as well. There were a couple of ways around it. We were definitely just kind of swinging for the fences with the possibility of trying to make something go off ridiculously that early on. Possibility of taking out the Emerald Elite with this leads me to pick it. Let's take the recall. Immediate upgrades on this are fine, but a lot better when you already know what else is going into the deck. The next time counter activates, lose only half as a finisher. Alright. Try and get some counter. Looking for counter, and we're looking for defensive entry. Rising Strike is a good way to gain counter as well as attack. Sharpened Fragment. It's always pretty good, but is it good for this character? Not hugely. I'm gonna take the Broken Wing statue. We'll see. I guess. Sure. I'll take the giant upgrade there. Defensive and 2 defense. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm not happy about the fact this Emerald Elite is guaranteed to be on our path, and we are guaranteed to not really be able to do much about it. So I'm going to smith the taunt so that I can choose the correct starts, entering defensive when needed. Bronze scales. We're probably going to need that for damage depending on who this is. Oh, of course, we have the ability to... Right, that's... For some reason I was like, oh no, we've already spent all of that. We hadn't. I think it's because the first space was not a fight, whereas in the inverse it would have been. Chain Lash, bunch of techniques, Moment of Truth, a finisher that gets us out. Bunch of techniques is a great way to get a bunch of counter. I will do it. Gift for the bird god. And then they run away. Enchant Crown. Just card in hand to cost 0 this combat. We are intending to run quite small, so I can take that. Speaking of intending to run quite small, we need to remove a bunch more cards from the deck. There we go, that gets out. Strike, sure. Emerald makes a lot of sense here. Enchant Crown becoming 0 cost is nice. Chain Lash getting an extra effect is pretty big too. Alright, hopefully I get 15 gold from this. We need more defensive entry as well. If we could get the skill that does the defensive entry, I'd be real pleased with that. Didn't roll the costs in the way that I'd hoped, but that's okay. We now have our taunt, getting us into defensive. It's a finisher as well. Yeah, so I'm going to need many more defensive entries. That'll kill. Hey, defensive style. It's exactly what I wanted. I also do want defensive shout, but defensive style upgrades to become innate, so I'll know I'll have it in my opening hand. Literally, it's what I was just asking for. Thank you so much. We'll break the ruby and then upgrade the defensive style. And now defensive shout, like, would actually just make the deck. Defensive style. Chain Lash. That is 28 that we riposte onto an enemy now. Let's enchant Crown on the taunt, because that is very likely to happen consistently. I do want to be able to play this twice, but it's also important to just make sure I don't take any damage. Actually, I could have used False Counter there. Probably should have used it at the very start of that turn. That would have made the most sense. Hey, hey! Zero cost to execute right there. You love to see it. Chain Lash has a habit of turning up at exactly the worst time. It's fine though, the enemy was already dead. Alright, we focus on thin decking now. We... Defensive style. We enchant Crown on defensive shout. I guess we... False counter, defensive shout. Strike. Perfect. Big Chain Lash and execute the frontliner. We get enough defense from the finisher there to be able to defend ourselves, and then the backliner is shook about it. Perfect. You can see this is working maybe as effectively as an aggressive deck might. If you start the turn in no starts, no. Adrenal Armor, gain block, but it's a defensive combo, no. Stance. No. We don't want to just add cards for no reason. This is fine. Bewildered, defensive, pass. Beautiful. Chain Lash, Rising Strike, defensive shout, 54. And then we even get the false counter here. Beautiful. And it's with taunt in the same hand. We enchant Crown, false counter. We play the false counter, then we play taunt to get back into defensive. We play defensive, 18, the enemy's weakened. We hit them back for 60 this turn. And then we still keep 30 to keep going on with. There's another false counter in hand. We falsely counter. I guess maybe I could have used a Rising Strike earlier. John, maybe I should have used Rising Strike first then. 36 against the enemy. And then another 18, because it keeps up. Taunt our way into defensive. Sure. I'll happily pop out that extra defender. Oh my god. Giant Chain Lash, defend, false counter. Get him. Turn 6 with a defensive kill. Ignore pain, clobber. Gain block equal to unblocked damage dealt. No. Enchant Crown, make another card 0 cost. So the thing is, like, our limitation is eventually going to be just draw. This character is not good at drawing. Without Gladiator mode, which is not on offer here. I may take nothing. Because we don't want to draw just a bunch of setup and not have the ability to defend ourselves early, because we just have a bunch of enchant crowns and nothing else. Victorious Crown replaces Champion's Crown. Start each combat in ultimate stance, which lasts for 2 turns. So Ultimate Stance is Berserker and non-Berserker at the same time. It also cannot be finished. So you use finishes and you just get the benefits of both finishes without losing it. I don't think that's relevant for us. I think closer to it is the Pandora's Box. While those 2 defend upgrades are pretty nice. Quite nice, actually. If we get finishes, or if we get useful cards, or if we get cards that exhaust, I'm pretty happy with this change. Fancy Footwork. Not great. Iron Fortress, not great. Good Clean Fight, not great. Although a lot of these are powers and they'll get out after we play them. Precise Thrust, Crooked Strike. Actually quite disappointed by all of those. We may need to take an earlier, an easier rather, start of the act. Wow, we literally can only get 1 elite. We have Preserved Insect. We have, oh, why is that? Oh, no, wait, no, there's a 2 elite path. Never mind, I was wrong. We're still taking a good, easy early here. The Defensive Shout definitely needs an upgrade to draw a card. It is one of the most important cards in the deck. One of the cards we could be playing most consistently as well. I'm gonna draw. And if you enter a starts game 2 block. Rough. It's defensive style. That's right, Iron Fortress should have done that earlier, but it's not going to matter because we still defend for 12. Love having the thorns there. Okay, taunt for the weakness on the enemies, like that too. Taunt, gaining defensive. We're using Chart Crown on the defensive shout, which I already intend to play this turn, drawing a card. Sure. Just Chain Lash for the possibility of having played this as well. Let's play out Bewildered first. No reason not to. There's no cards that prefer a precedent here. Oh, right. This is a finisher, so we are going to gain block. Nice. That'll do it. Strength Potion, Refreshment. Defensive combo, draw 3 cards. Finally. That is... We may... I just want to remove cards from the deck. 3 Shell Monty. That one seems... As in, that one's just like watching something on the board rather than solving a puzzle as much as many of the other ones are. It fits the thematic effectively, it's just, I kind of want to solve a puzzle right now. Let's do the slide puzzle. I'm not great at slide puzzles. Within the time limit, the more you solve, the more you win. 4x4 puzzle, 90 seconds. Sure. We would always get these in kind of like kids magazines and stuff like that. Like really like 2-cent kind of plastic versions that gum themselves up after you've played with them a little bit and you've got your grubby human fingers all over them. Having just opened a... I was going to say Capri Sun, but that's in a very American reference, and that would be Americanizing the reference for you. For me, it would have been your hands are all sticky from the Sunny Boy that you just had. Okay. At least it shows you when you've got them in the correct position. Not really helping myself right now. I don't know the patterns to move something from an area that you don't want it to an area you do want it instead. I think is one of the big reasons I'm not great at this. Well, I mean, that wants to be there, and that wants... Oh, God. Well, we're getting an uncommon card and potion, apparently, at least. Or at least seem likely to. Okay, how do I get y'all down? There we go. But then that foot needs to be down there as well. Which means I need like the inverse of that setup. Oh my god. I'm not gonna have time. Try and put as many things as I can in the right... Fine. That's uncommon potion. I'm not good at it! Essence of Steel. I'm just gonna take my 40 and bounce then. Slide puzzles will forever be my enemy. Iron Fortress. Then get that one out too. Beautiful. Maximum value attained. We can pop a refreshment for the draw 3 cards. Dang, bewilderment. I have to play false counter. Alright, well done. Hey! That actually worked out pretty dang well right there. A Chain Lash 2? Baby! I'm not going to use Refreshment this turn because I can just false counter, enter defensive here. And then, actually, I could just Precise Thrust for the... Right, first hit, enemy dies, I take no damage. Flash Strike. It's another defensive entry as well. I do need a fair few defensive entries in this deck. I have Taunt, I have False Count. How many finishes do I have? Crooked Strike is a finisher, but I don't want that in the deck for long. Moment of Truth being a draw card finisher, actually, that retains... I think we take Moment of Truth, because we're looking on removing other finishers from the deck. 12 cards. Didn't really want that taunt, but I'm also not too mad about it. Also don't want Enlightenment. Shield Throw. Fine. It's just a value-dense card. Well, now I can have more finishes in the deck than I thought. Blank card at the start of combat. Play a card from your deck. I always quite liked that. The Shield Throw wants an upgrade. The Iron... No, not really. We don't intend on keeping that in the deck. Refreshment definitely wants an upgrade. Taunt plays itself at the start. Nice. Even got past the bewilderment at the very end there. Love it. Good lord, look how much damage that did on turn 1. I guess I want a Shield Throw. And I'll execute for more defense. I fish for... Nothing that we got, unfortunately. Which means I will have to use the Strength Potion to exactly get that kill. Should have just used the Strength Potion rather than trying to fish for a lower value potion to give us what we needed there. Another defensive style, another pre-upgraded Chain Lash. Gain block equal to your counter. Circumvent is exactly what we want in this deck. I want that Chain Lash. I also want the other card. This thin deck's getting pretty thick. It's defensive style. Okay, Taunt was reduced. That's perfect. Now we'll... Actually, do I want to end this turn in the stance or not? I'm fine without ending it in the stance, actually. Because that has to be played there, and then that there. If I don't want to be taking too much damage, that is. Well, now I do want to be in the stance instead. Funny how that works. Wielded Iron Fortress. Dang. That sucked. Alright. Defensively shout at him. Pop some hits out at him. Moment of Truth retains. Actually going to throw the Precise Thrust there. Now we only have one enemy left on the board. They are not capable of dealing enough damage to actually ruin my life here. Throw that out. Throw out the Refreshment as well. Perfect. Then I can Taunt for defensive and Moment of Truth. Get him. Not our best elite fight. Not too far from our worst. Second Chain Lash. My god. Literally what I keep asking for keeps turning up. It's kind of unfair. I imagine were I the enemy here, I'd be a wee bit miffed about it all. Still taking fair damage, though. Okay. Defensively shout at him. Iron Fortress Circumvent. Nothing really else to do there. Can I gain that much defense this turn? Not really. We don't defend as much as we gain counter. Oh, no, I can do it. It's Moment of Truth. And then 23 damage. Doesn't matter if we can block next turn if the enemy's already dead. Pass. Pair. Raise your max HP by 10. Max HP is nice, but I think it's as important as everything else there. Wow, we got a copy of defensive style just played at the very start. Love that. Let's follow up with another defensive style. Chain Lash for a giant amount of counter. Then we even give him the weaken. Perfect. 45. So much damage. Okay, Bewilder, Chain Lash. Moment of Truth for the sake of the defense. Frontline is literally one from dead. We can taunt our way into defensive, so I can shield throw. I don't need 9 Fortress out there. I definitely don't need more dazed. Okay, we're gonna have to draw here. I was about to say we're looking for finishers. Thank you, game. And a defensive shout, and Crooked Strike, another finisher. Taunt our way into defensive. Don't need to do anything else. Oh my god, this is perfect. Chain Lash gains a bunch of counter, turn the counter into block, and then Shield Throw. It's one of the combos I did want to work into the deck. No. Perfect. Finally some opportunities to turn those down. Ooh. Did you have to be attacking that much on turn 1? At least Rising Strike is the ability to remove an enemy off of the field right now. Didn't think about the possibility of that. We can remodel anything that gets too bad. Oh my god. Thank you for at least getting them to reasonable-ish degrees. That on the front liner. We use a taunt to get back into defensive. And you know what? I will use the energy potion to pop out the false counter as well. Frontline takes a hit. Backline takes the rest of it. And then the rest of the fight should be a lot simpler. Enchant on Chain Lash. We'll taunt our way back into defensive. Counter's now getting real high. Chain Lash a bunch, and then use a Moment of Truth, a defensive shout to get back into the footwork. 12 block again, because that's another finisher that's going to be activated. Don't love bypassing refreshment there. Because of this. Let's defensively shout. Okay. Crooked strike our way out of that. Taunt our way back into defense. It's 32 already. That was the worst case scenario, them doing a giant block this turn. $12 damage twice. So I can kill the frontliner. Fine. A giant chain lash there. Use a Moment of Truth. We'll end up taking 7 damage here. And then we kill. That fight was not great. Calibers is incredible and should fix all of our problems. Thank you, Calibers. Turns out it would be good here. Use that precise thrust. And I kind of want to crooked strike the back line, getting out of this stance. Yeah. 1 turn of vulnerability. Our defense is already accounted for there. Wow. You suck. They did their largest attack on the next turn. And also we drew into Bewildered. Drawing into Bewildered wasn't extremely unlikely though. If I want 10 defense this turn, I have to give up blocking next turn. so bad. Defensive Chain Lash. Get the Moment of Truth out there. We can then taunt our way back into a defensive. Get good clean fight out there, and then another taunt just to stay in defensive. Hey, Circumvent. Circumvent is like all of our defense right now. I actually think the Pandoras killed us. Like, the benefit of the cards we got from Pandoras versus having 4 defends, 2 of them upgraded in the deck. I think there was more previously. That's not the card that I tried to... Okay, whatever. We're still alive, so... everything's fine. No. We could just die on turn 1 here. No access to finishes in this hand. Good lord, thank you for the defense. Let's exit this stance. Enter it again. Stay in it. And then shield throw. Unfortunately, we have also gone past our best defensive card. Finally, we get to get rid of Bewildered. Giant Chain Lash there, I think. Keep a finisher in hand. You have no way to get back into a mode in hand. 23 incoming damage. Currently 8 block in hand. 20 block in hand. So 8, 14 is not enough to take down an enemy. Unfortunately, in order to generate the block that I need to use Moment of Truth while I'm in defensive stance. If I am in defensive stance when I use it, though, then I lock myself out of Fancy Footwork, which is the ability to draw a card. And that card draw seems like it is desperately required. I don't see any combination of these that doesn't just kill me here. We're dead. Even like drawing into refreshment with the Fancy Footwork gives us energy, but then that energy doesn't translate into then doing anything. Yep. Taking the giant hit in the second turn of the previous fight was what killed us. What I should have tried to do is maybe focus on just defending in that fight, but I tried not to focus on just defending in that fight because I felt like just defending keeps killing us because we didn't have enough defensive cards in the deck. Circumvent was super helpful. Another copy of Circumvent would have been nice. Obviously, removing more cards from the deck would have been nice so that we have the ability to just get back to the key cards consistently. Pandora's is often quite good. It did give us a finisher. And that was good. The finisher that it gave us has been quite powerful. I was hoping for it to give us more finishers and less powers that don't impact how I play at all, as well as things that specifically require that I go into Berserker because I usually am staying in defensive. So I took it when I knew that I had 2 defends that were upgraded as well as 2 normal defends that I knew at the time I was reliant on them. The reason I still took it at that point was because I figured that if I got enough finishes, I was going to be able to still get enough defensive value. And I think that could have ended up happening, but it didn't end up happening. And then we die. Yeah. Ah! Well, that means it is just the champ and the automaton that is still remaining to get to their 11. So it is going to be the automaton next episode before it goes back to the champ until we go to the champ, getting to 11. For the moment, my name is Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Slay the Spire Downfall. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.